So somebody can help us check. Once you're able to discover that we are live, just let us know so that, yeah, I think we are going live already. You can see our pop-up coming up. Okay, so good evening to everyone in our time zone. And for those in different time zone, I want to say good morning or afternoon to you. So this is the team here from Pillars Cloud Technologies meeting virtually, and we thought to also share our thoughts with those who are writing the MS-900 exam. And the module that we are entering at the moment seems to be a bit advanced, even though it is within the fundamentals exam, right? So as a matter of reintroduction, my name is Joseph Afisu. I am a Microsoft MVP and a Microsoft MCT as well, right? So today we'll be talking mainly about the MS-900 Introduction to Microsoft 365 that speaks to defined M365 security and compliance. So we have 4 series or 4 modules in the MS-900 series. The Microsoft Azure Fundamentals, the Introduction to Microsoft 365, describing the M365 apps and services. And the third one, so the M365 apps and services was what we did last week. And then now we want to do the MS-900 Introduction to Microsoft 365. And we are going to be describing the concepts of security in Microsoft 365 and compliance, the capabilities, right? So we'll just open this and we'll really take it slowly, just so it can be beneficial and inclusive to those who are new to the platform and those who are already schooled in this term, in this topic. So we're going to learn about the security, the compliance, and the identity solution through the Microsoft help. Through Microsoft, through this, Microsoft help people and organizations secure their entire digital estate. Remember that M365 is a public cloud deployment model, and it's under the software as a service model, right? So it is simply with this, Microsoft helps organizations to make sure that they are secure, and then they are compliant in the sense that if there are security requirements, compliance requirements from regulatory bodies, this, for example, you're working in the health sector, you are working in finance, or you are working in the law sector, there are some basic requirements from the regulatory body within your country that would work in tandem with your requirements in terms of audit or compliance requirements. While doing that, there can be security measures, security need in terms of how your organization needs to be secure. And all around it, the cloud service provider have this covered within the service level agreements. So what is required is that you need to understand the concept of today's conversation, you need to be familiar with the concept of cloud computing, such as what? The models, right? The model and the services. So the models, that is private, public, and hybrid cloud, while the service or service type is speaking to the IaaS, the PaaS, and then the SaaS. And M365 is categorized under the SaaS solutions, right? So if you are unfamiliar with the basic cloud concept, which we have covered earlier, so we recommend that you take some step to go watch the last week engagement and see how you can come up to study the one for this particular week. You can sit down, right, on different platforms that we are. You can sit down to listen through, you'll be able to make sense of it, but it will make better sense for you if you could go back and look at what we currently have available in our last week's meeting, and then that will really be of help to you. So that said, if you are a Microsoft 365 person, you would always hear extended detection and response, or what they call Defender XDR, right? So the extended detection and response solutions are designed to deliver complete and simplified, efficient approach to protect your organization against advanced attacks. So for Defender XDR, it takes care of both the basic attacks that any organization can face, and still goes on to handle the advanced. When we say the advanced, they're like the modern threats that could come to your organization through any means, right? So Microsoft Defender XDR, or is popularly called XDR solution, is just the name, but also it's not just the name, right? But also in practice. So Microsoft Defender XDR delivers a unified pre and post breach enterprise defense against suits that natively coordinates detection, prevention, investigation, response across one, your devices, which are known as your endpoints, your identities, which are like your UPN, what you use in signing in, right? Your email address, your inbox, where you receive emails, and application to provide integrated solution against sophisticated attack. So when you hear XDR, what should come to your mind is it is all in one, right? Which takes care of that is before breach, if there is any breach, after the breach, and then after the breach, in the sense that trying to cut down the consequence of the breach, right? And then what it does is that it coordinates one, detection in case there's any approach from an external a threat actor rather. Then it prevents, right? And then helps you investigate a situation and then responds to any form of detection that it did. And this does not happen only on your Windows devices, only on your Mac. It happens both on the mobile and your PCs, which can even be like cut across like different platforms that you are signing in, your web, your applications, which are the desktop apps, right, or the mobile application. XDR cuts across that. So when you're hearing when you hear the word Microsoft Defender XDR, XDR will stand for extended detection and response. Okay. So in this module, you will learn how Microsoft Defender XDR delivers on the promise of XDR that we are just praising it now, to help protect your organization, because security is every man's business, but every man cannot put all attention required in place. So there must be form of automated checks that should be going on while you are focused on your real life day-to-day experience, while you watch on the alerts and the warnings that you receive from those activities that are happening behind the scene. So you'll explore each of the different Defender services, right? And the capabilities of the Defender portal. That's very important. So after completing this module, we'll be expecting you to be able to describe the Microsoft Defender XDR service, right? Which already by now, if I give you the mic to speak, you should already be telling me about what Microsoft Defender XDR does. Then you should be able to describe how Microsoft Defender XDR provides integrated protection against sophisticated attacks, right? And then you should be able to describe and explore the Microsoft Defender portal. So how does it look? The portal itself, how does it do this work, right? So we are going to be looking at that as well. So now the next thing is for us to now sit on it and really describe what Microsoft Defender XDR services are. So we'll just go on to the next slide, on to the next page. So what is this saying in general? We are going to be describing the Microsoft Defender XDR services. So of course, you know that it is, from our definition, it's an enterprise defense suite of solutions. So what it means is that it is not just one solution, it's a combination of solutions, but they are unified in the way they work that protect against cyber attacks, right? So Microsoft Defender XDR allow your admin to access threat signals in terms of alerts, right? From endpoints. Whenever you hear the word endpoint, it's talking about devices, your phones, your laptops, and all of that. Your applications too, we can track what's happening within your applications, your emails, and your identity to determine the scope of the attack and the impact of the possible cyber attack. So it gives greater insight into how the threat occurred, right? Giving you like a full audit and what systems have been affected, right? With either the intending attack or just an attack that got finished, right? Microsoft Defender can then take automated action to prevent or stop the attack. Now, this is very important. It takes decision. You can set up policy to take decisions. Let's say, for example, there is a particular application that you wouldn't want people to use. So you just unsanction the application and people can no longer use it. And then you can also set policies to say whenever someone is trying to send email send file between his account and his private email, it should alert the administrator. So things like that. So Microsoft Defender XDR suite include one, Defender for endpoints. So there's Defender for endpoints. So what is it supposed to do? Is a solution that is a unified endpoint platform that the perspective is to protect post-breach detection, automated investigation, and response. But this time is going to be dependent or working in line with your endpoint. So Microsoft Defender for Endpoint is a unified endpoint platform for preventive protection, post-breach detection, and automated investigation and response. And now beyond that, there is Defender Vulnerability Management. So Defender Vulnerability Management delivers continuous assets or asset visibility, trying to like look at what is happening, right? Intelligent risk-based assessments, right? It uses AI, right? And machine learning, to be precise, to understand what's happening. And then it uses the built-in remediation tool to help your security and IT team to prioritize and address critical vulnerabilities and misconfiguration across your system. So it uses, so the idea this will be using is what is called secure score. So secure score is like recommendation of what is not in order in your firm, in your current IT configuration, and then it suggests to you what you need to improve in order to stay away from a possible vulnerability, so that to prevent threats from really, and then bringing up what will really bring down your system. So Microsoft Defender for Office 365. So Defender for Office 365 safeguards your organization against malicious threats posed by one, your email, your URL, and then your collaboration tool. So if you talk about this, there are anti-malware policy, anti-spam policy, then safe attachments, right? All these are coming from Defender for Microsoft 365. So beyond this, you have Defender for identity. So Defender for identity actually uses the directory signals to identify, detect, and investigate advanced threat compromised identities and malicious insider action detected in your organization. What is this talking about? So the Defender for identity is concentrating on issues around your user behavior, your user sign-in behavior. So that's where you can hear the word risky users, right? So risky users are those users. So you have like two categories of risky user in this case. You have the risky sign-in, and then you have risky sign-in, and then you have risky user. So when they say risky sign-in, it's a tendency that it is not your user that is really signing into his account. So they may need to just verify by providing MFA, right? So user signing or user risk is basically speaking to the fact that, hey, it is possible that this user's account has been compromised. So what actually handles this? The sign-in risk, and then the user risk is the Microsoft Defender for Identity. So it uses the identity, the active signals to identify, detect, and investigate advanced threats that actually come from identity compromise. So Microsoft Defender for cloud apps. So what are we talking about? Microsoft Defender for Office 365 is focused mainly on what? Your email, and then your link in terms of, and also attachments and collaboration tools, right? Why the Microsoft Defender for Cloud app delivers full protection for software as a service solution. So Defender for Cloud application is cloud access security broker that brings deeply visibility, strong data control, and enhanced threat protection to all applications. So the point here actually really is that the Microsoft Defender for Cloud app is actually all out there investigating beyond the Microsoft applications that you use in Microsoft 365. You can be using third-party applications within Microsoft 365. It helps you to score this application, tell you how much of compliance they have, right? If those apps are not compliant, you will have the reason why they are not compliant, and you can use that idea to block the application from use within your environment. Because from Microsoft Teams, you have option to use series of applications. For example, you can use like a lot of third-party applications. Talk about Dropbox, talk about Box, talk about a lot of applications, right? That you want to use. The Microsoft apps are there. You have Asana. You have third-party apps like Asana, like Box, like Dropbox, Google Drive, and all of that. You can actually have those integrated into your system, but you can decide not to allow those apps to be used by unsanctioning them, right, from the Microsoft Defender admin center, and that is under the Microsoft Defender for cloud applications. So you also have Microsoft Defender XDR now also investigates with Microsoft Security Copilot. Yeah, this is very important. This is like an update, right, that came because of the advent of Copilot. And I'm sure also that because of the advent of Copilot, courses like SC401 was instituted so that people can also use that to cover for the part of compliance, right, that has to do with the use of AI in the modern work. So integration with Security Copilot can be experienced through the standalone and the embedded experiences. So the information and the insight surfaced by the Microsoft Defender suite of solution are centralized in Microsoft Defender Portal. So the Microsoft Defender Portal is a security admin center of Microsoft 365, mind you, while the compliance admin center is a Microsoft Purview admin center in Microsoft 365. So what the Microsoft Defender admin portal does is it delivers a unified security operation platform and a unified security operation platform. So the Microsoft Defender portal now include information and insight from Microsoft security products, including Microsoft Sentinel and Microsoft Defender for Cloud, right? So users can access the Microsoft Threat Intelligence solution and the Microsoft Defender XDR portal. So the Defender, so a lot is actually here, but the good thing is I'm going to show you how that looks. So throughout the rest of this module, you will learn more about the solution that are part of the Microsoft Defender XDR. So the portal, the integration, the Microsoft Defender XDR, the Microsoft Security Portal, and the Defend Threat Intelligence. But before we even go, right, I'm going to just, a lot of theory have been spoken, but it will really be nice if we can bring up just the portal, just to see how the Defender portal looks in the first place. So I'm here. So what you do is, if you go to cmd.ms, you have Defender, right? So Microsoft 365 Defender. So you can open the Defender portal through that platform, right? So this is just saying I should confirm. These are part of the security measures that we are talking about. So just check in with me to see that I am fit to sign in to the environment. So I'm okay, I'm not editing my detail. Okay, so that should take us to the Microsoft Defender now. And to quickly mention, another way to access that Defender portal is to come to security. So if you click on security from the Micro 365 Admin Center, then you will see Defender, right? So either of them, you can actually use that to follow through how you're going to do your stuff. So coming back here, this one is still loading. So this is the Microsoft 365 Defender portal loading, right? And then it's going to come up now. So now you can see from here already that it is checking through my devices. And if you look at this place, it has been able to understand that I have 92% of my devices that are non-compliant, and this is really very bad. The system is telling me, hey, you have 92% of your applications that are non-compliant, and then you have connected SaaS application, right? So Defender for Cloud Apps protects your SaaS application with security configuration, recommendation, threat protection, and information protection, and all of that. You have the malware remediated, you have active, you have malware, you have all of these that are just on this dashboard trying to match up with what is happening in my environment. No device data is displayed yet, and then you have zero threat required action, then high impact threats, and then highest exposure threats. So this is just helping me to look at what I'm doing. And this is my secure score. So this is telling me how compliant I am with industry standard, right, in terms of security. So if you come here, what you will see is you will see emails and collaboration. So this is speaking to Microsoft Defender for Office 365. So you have this here, Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps, right? You have Cloud App Discovery, Cloud App Catalog, and then all of that. We are not going deep into stuffs. I'm just trying to show you how it is. So under Microsoft Defender for Identity, you can see identity here. And then you can see Defender for Endpoints that handles vulnerability management, partners, and API configuration management. And then talk about assets in terms of your devices, identity, and application again. You can have overview, then attack surface, then you have explore insights, secure score again there, and then horns. And then one thing that is so sweet here is the policies, right? I want to just show you quickly before we go on. So you can talk about attack simulations as well. You can see there, and then you can see policies and rules that I was trying to show you. So under policies and rule, you will see threat policies. And then what that means is that you can go to anti-malware, right? You can see anti-phishing, anti-spam, anti-malware, safe attachments, safe links, and all of that. So this is just we trying to show you around the portal for Microsoft Defender, really. So we'll minimize this now and continue with our conversation. Okay. So describe the Microsoft Defender for Office 365 is going to be our our next topic of conversation. So Microsoft Defender for Microsoft Defender for Office 365. Microsoft Defender for Office 365 is actually an integration into Office 365 subscription that you have that will provide protection against threat like phishing. I just showed you from that policies, right? Malware, that's why you have anti-malware that arrive via your email in terms of safe attachments, right? Collaboration tools like your SharePoint, your Teams, your Outlook, and your OneDrive as the case may be. So Defender for Office 365 provides real-time view of threats and also provide investigation, hunting, and then remediation capabilities to help secure your team's identity and prioritize investigation and response to threats that are happening. So Microsoft Defender for Office 365 is available in two plans, right? You have plan 1, you have plan 2. So this can be bought as standalone, right? Or the Plan 2 itself can be an integration, or it is an integration of M365 E5 license. But if you're using business premium, you have like a very sneak tip of it, right? And you may need to go by the full-fledged Office 365 Plan 1 or Plan 2. And this will help you to safeguard your organization against malicious threats. So if you're not already using the Microsoft Office 365 Defender plan, so you may need to just check it out. So safeguard your organization against malicious threats and providing admin and security operation team a wide range of capabilities. So these capabilities can be categorized into prevention, investigation, and reporting, or responding rather. So what XDR does, or Microsoft Defender XDR does, is categorized into, if it is not prevention, then it is investigation. If it's not investigation, then it's responding to threats. So that we may need to know. Under prevention, or prevention category of the Microsoft Defender service, you have anti-malware. So this prevents the malware from coming, right? So it actually protects all malwares, including viruses, spywares, and ransomware, from coming into your system. Then you have the anti-spam, which protects your users' content filtering technology to identify and separate junk emails from legitimate email. It distinguishes them. So you can actually use policies to control all of this come. Then there's anti-phishing, which prevents spoofing. Somebody from trying to perpetuate by cloning your domain to send email. So the anti-phishing, so not just in, right? It actually helps to protect the incoming and then even the outgoing as well. So anti-phishing protection helps you to protect against phishing email attack that try to steal sensitive information in message that appear to be from legitimate and trusted senders. One of the good thing about this is that you could also the prevention is that you could also use an integrated service called the attack simulation training, right, to better prepare your employees to identify spoofing emails. And there are trainings in between to also get them, or their hands solid, on their eyes strong to think before they click. The trainings can also be delivered automatically to people. And you can also say that the system should send follow-up emails to employees who have not finished their courses. And you can decide to really plan how this can be done months on months, just so to prevent possible threat email from coming into your environment. It also filter outbound spam, right? Just to make sure that nobody sends compromises your account and then use your correct email to send like a lot of emails out to other users. You can use that Microsoft Defender for Office to set the mail threshold to know how many mails should come from people. And Microsoft Graph will use that user behavior to understand when things are out of range, right? Or when the behavior is no longer as it used to be, then it can flag the system and then put the email, the sender's email on hold. So connection filtering also helps you to identify good and bad sorts of email servers, so you can use their IP to detect, hey, this email is not supposed to be coming from this IP, right? Or from this server, as the case may be. So there's a quarantine policy too that you can also set from the Defender as admin center, right? So what it does is that the policy will help you to define the user experience for quarantine emails, right? Whether the emails, they can request for the emails to be released, whether you just want the email to be in quarantine and send notification to them to say, hey, there was an email, but it has been quarantined. So you hear word like 0-hour auto purge, where an email was already delivered with the malicious attachment, and Microsoft Defender XDR or Microsoft Defender for Office will come back using 0-hour auto purge to expunge the attachment from the email. So there's also solutions where, or configuration where, whenever there is an attachment to an email, you can have the email deliver, right? But the attachment will be scanned first. And if the attachment is deemed fit without error, without threats, the system can get it delivered to the intended recipient of that. And if the attachment is malicious, then the user gets a notification to say that the attachment was detected to be malicious and cannot be delivered to your mailbox, right? So all of those you can do. Safe attachment that prevents additional layer that provides additional layer of protection against malware. So after files are scanned, like what I was saying, common virus detection engine will help to detect, and then safe attachment opens the file in virtual environment to see what's happening, a process known as detonation. So the Microsoft Defender for Office 365 can detonate a mail to look at the attachments and then decide whether to go or not. So safe link scanning, right, that prevents the organization from malicious links. So even when a link is contained in a mail, then the link can be scanned first before that the user can open it. And the good thing is that you can even decide to prevent the kind of attachment, for example, that you want. You can set, it could know that .iso files or exes are not allowed. You can really define that using Microsoft Defender for Office 365. Then email and collaboration alerts are also there. And then I also mentioned this earlier, which is attack simulation training, which allow admins to run realistic attack scenarios in your organization, and the simulated attack help identify and train vulnerable users before the real guy will come to attack your organization. And this is really very, very, very important. What about the security information and event management is also integrated into your Microsoft Defender for Cloud? Then that will actually do a lot. So apart from the prevention, right? So there is investigation. So some of the features of Microsoft Defender for Office 365 that can help your organization detect emails and collaboration based on their threats. The audit log we set for users with appropriate permissions, such as the admins, insider risks team, compliance, and legal investigators to provide visibility into the activities of the organization. What about message trace capability? So this can help you follow emails that travel through the Microsoft 365 organization. So you can determine if the message was received, if the message was detected, if the message was deferred, or if the message was delivered by the service. And it shows you exactly what action we're taking on the message before they reach their final status of either delivered or is either quarantined or is either, so message trace will actually help you to do that. And this is under investigate, right? So reports also to help you see how email security features are protecting your organization. You can use report to look at it. Then you can also use Explorer, which is also known as Threat Explorer, right? This is a real-time detection that actually they are very, very near real-time to explore security operations to help the SecOps team to investigate and respond to threats. So Explorer actually also allow admin to see malware detected by Microsoft 365 Defender feature, right? So start an automated investigation, that's what it does, and respond to the process, investigate malicious emails, and then every other stuff that can even come from as granular as even your charts. So security information and events of this for detection, then URL trace to see, hey, this URL that has been received, is it legitimate or is it going to be leading our users to the hackers platform? So we have the threat tracker also there in terms of the investigate, and then we'll have the campaign feature that actually helps to categorize coordinated phishing and malware email attack. So what about response? That is the 0-hour auto purge I mentioned earlier. That's categorized under response. Some of the features of Microsoft Defender from help organization to detect email collaboration. What is 0-hour auto purge doing? It retroactively detects and neutralizes malicious phishing, spam, or malware message that have already been delivered to the Exchange Online mailbox. So WhatsApp does is that it comes back and check, hey, what's there? And then once the email that escaped filtering had gone to your mailbox, it will still come back and check the attachments right, and be proactive enough to respond to it by removing the attachment from your mailbox and quarantining it immediately, right? That's what 0 hour auto purge does. So just in case you hear zap or 0 hour auto purge. Then automated investigation and response, which is the right? Capabilities that include automated investigation process in response to well-known threats that exist in our today's work, right? So security information and event management integration for automated responses. So for complete listing of the feature in each plan, you may need to check out the Office 365 security product overview. Then you will see what is actually there. Microsoft Defender for Office, a Microsoft Defender portal that I just brought up that you've seen already. So it's under the email and collaboration. And what do you have there? Investigate, explore, review. So I'm just going to bring that up again, just so you can see it. Where are you here? Yes. So if you look at the email, you really see this investigation, explorer, preview. Let me zoom in a bit just in case my screen is small. So you can see it here, right? Dash, and not that, email. So you see investigations, explorer, preview, campaign, threat tracker, exchange email trace, and then you have attack simulation training, right? So policies and rules. So policies and rules are more of prevention, and then exchange message trace is more of detection. Yeah, right. So you can see the same thing is here. So what this is saying is that Microsoft Defender for Office 365 is experienced through the Microsoft Defender portal, which I've just shown you. So the Defender portal is the home for monitoring and managing security across Microsoft identities, talk about the data, talk about the device, talk about the applications, the infrastructure that is allowing security admins to perform their own security task in one location. So Microsoft Defender for Office 365 functionality can be found under emails and collaboration, Microsoft Defender for Office 365. So this is where it is found. So what does it do? Investigate, which help you to view, manage, and remediate. Then Explorer, which is to investigate, hunt for, and then remediate threats. Then Review, that's manage, quarantine, and all of that. Campaign, which analyze organization. The analyze coordinated attack, right? Then Threat Tracker, monitor threats, and then Exchange message trace, analyze message flow, and then attack simulation training, access and build training for people, why policies and rule, configure security policies for emails and other M365 workloads. So when you hear the word Microsoft 365 Microsoft Defender for Office 365, you talk about the email and collaboration function or features of the Microsoft Defender portal. So the overview, this is just trying to show us. So what is this saying? If we come to Explorer, I will still show you quickly. Okay, so M365, I'm just going to this. So if you come to Explorer, really, what is this going to do for you? Shows you like a lot of things that are happening in your environment. So just wait for that to load up and then we see. Yeah, so this is telling us like a lot in terms of, let me reduce the size of my screen. In terms of emails, clicked URLs by all the users in my environment. This is not a a user-based environment, right? So this is a test environment. That's why you don't have a lot. But if you check, there are emails that have come in, right? Review, lab rats, and all of those that have actually come in, right? Just to give you an idea, sneak peek into it. Then the URL that people have clicked, the environment, the top URLs that people have clicked. Also, look at it, the form of image, and then if they were message, if they were junked or not. So you can see them here, and then you can, just from where you are, you can come to talk about the top clicks, and then you talk about the top targeted users. If you feel that they are targeting your users, email origin, and then you talk about the campaign part of it also. So with this that you've seen, it will make sense to you now. If you look at this definition that is here, that the explorer will help you to investigate, to help you to hunt, and to help you to remediate threats in emails and documents, in links and all of that. While the review here, the review is going to help you manage quarantine items and restricted senders, while the campaigns is going to help you analyze tools, coordinate attacks against your environment. So just before we move on to the next one that describe Microsoft Defender for endpoints, right? I just want us to come back again to this, just so we can just click through the Microsoft Defender for Office 365 and see what we have there. We are now in Investigate, right? And then we've seen what we are now in Explorer, and then we see what we have here, right? Is a lot of information. You can come to reviews also to see what's happening there. This will really be more interesting in an environment, in a production environment. So Action Center, track phishing and malicious campaign aimed at your users. Then quarantine, this helps you to review the quarantine messages and decision whether you want and decide whether you want to release messages from your quarantine or not. And then restricted entities. So this helps you to unlock entities which have been blocked in your environments. That is for that. And then the malware and threats, you will see them under review. So this is one of the easiest way to go to quarantine, just to mention. And then campaign, and then you have these are the campaigns that you may have in your environment, campaign origin also, which was mentioned in that presentation, just to see. And then you have threats tracker. So this actually helps you to saved queries, and then you see tracked queries. You have trending campaigns that you can also look at in real life to see what's really happening. Then the Exchange message trace is actually going to be taking you to the Exchange Admin Center, where you're going to be tracking emails. Then attack simulation training is where you create payloads, right? Payloads that can be used to for simulation, right? You can see, you can go to simulation, can go to trainings, and then you can, so when you are in simulation, you can actually create attack simulation. So if you want to launch a simulation, let's say, for example, we are not going to go far in that, you can have that, you have credential harvest, you have malware attachments, you have link in attachments. So it depends on what you want to target your users to have. You can actually go on to create an attack simulation and look at what you want to use. If you want to use expense report sharing, Black Friday offers, just to know the behavior of your users, all these are under Microsoft Defender for Office 365. So what is in Defender for Microsoft Defender for endpoints? What is really in Microsoft Defender for endpoints? So Microsoft Defender for Endpoint is a platform designed to help enterprise network protect endpoints, including your laptops, including your phones, including your tablets, including your PCs, your access points, your routers, your firewalls. All these are covered within the Microsoft Defender for Endpoints. I had already stressed on phones, on tablets, on PCs, right? On laptops, right? So laptops can cover for Mac, for Linux, but of course, when you see PCs, it's speaking to Microsoft, the Windows PCs, right? The Windows laptops are generally called PCs. Just in case you are seeing PCs as personal computer and somebody's also saying laptop. So that's what it means. So beyond these conventional applications that conventional platforms, device platforms that you use, it also Microsoft Defender for endpoint also caters for access points. It caters for your routers, right? And also caters for your firewalls in your network. So it does so by preventing, detecting, and investigating and responding to advanced threats. So Microsoft Defender for endpoints embed technologies built in M365 Windows 10 and beyond, and Microsoft Cloud Services. And this technology include the Microsoft or the endpoint behavioral sensor, right, that are embedded in Windows 10 and beyond that collect process signal from what? The operating system. What's happening on this PC regarding this user, right? So cloud security analytics also that translate behavior of the signals into signals detection and recommended response for the advanced threats. So threats intelligence that enables Defender for Endpoint to identify attackers, their tools, their techniques, and procedures, and also generate alerts when they observe any of these that breaches those security measures. So Microsoft Defender for Endpoints goes to the core Defender vulnerability management, attack surface reduction, next generation protection, endpoint detection and response, which is generally called EDR, then automated investigation and remediation, and then Microsoft Threats Experts. So centralized configuration and administration. That's what Microsoft Defender for Endpoints covers. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint will include core Defender vulnerability management, attack surface reduction, next generation, and all of it is actually here for line-by-line studies. So where is that found? It is found under endpoints. So if you come to endpoints now, here, I'll cancel this. So this is, we are back to the M35 Admin Center. So if you check your endpoints here, you actually have vulnerability management, right? Under here, you have a lot of others in terms of one, the dashboard, the remediation, right? Then you talk about the inventories, the weaknesses, and then the event timelines. All these are under Microsoft Defender for Endpoints. So you can see all of it here. The dashboard, recommendation, partner API too. You can see all of these down here are categorized under Defender for Endpoints. Look at it, connected application API, right? Then you look at this also, this and then this. All of this from here down to this place is Microsoft Defender for Endpoints before you talk about the Microsoft Defender for Identity down below here. So there is need for you to be able to understand how all these function. So Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps, we may be wrapping up with that, right? We may be wrapping up with Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps, really. So Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps is a software as a service apps used across hybrid work environments. Now, protecting those applications, it is very important that the data they store is actually taken care of, because that's going to be a significant challenge to an organization, right? So the rise in app usage, people are building apps every day to meet one solution or the other, combined with employees accessing company resources outside of the corporate office perimeter. That is very, very important. That's where Microsoft Defender for Cloud App is going to be taking care of, that your remote worker, right? Now, the corporate parameter has also introduced new attack vectors, right? So to combat this attack effectively, security team needs to approach that and protect those data within the applications that users make use of on their separate workspaces, right? So Microsoft Defender for Cloud App deliver full protection for SaaS application, both the ones that are Microsoft or third party, helping you monitor and protect your cloud application data across the following areas. Fundamental cloud access security broker, right? A SAP acts as a gatekeeper to broker real-time access between your enterprise user and the cloud resources that they use. So this helps the organization to protect the environment by providing a wide range of capabilities across key functional areas, which include discovery into the app usage and then the shadow IT. Shadow IT is speaking about people that are trying to boycott the process of doing things or using applications that are not approved. So this protection against app based on threat from anywhere in the cloud, information protection and compliance. What about the security of the SaaS application, right? SaaS security posture management. So this enables security team to improve organization security posture. Advanced threat protection as part of the Microsoft Extended Defender, extended and detection and response with the XDR solution, enabling powerful correlation of signals and visibilities across full kill chain of advanced attack, app-to-app protection, right? Extend the core threats scenarios to OAuth, that is open authentication enabled app that have permission and privileges for critical data access. You have to have option for app discovery, right? Information protection, and then SaaS security posture management. So all of these, there are also advanced threats that can come from your cloud application, apps to app protection with apps governance, that's possible. The Microsoft Defender for cloud app in Microsoft Defender portal. How do you go there, right? That's what you have here. So this is what we'll be looking at now in the portal before we wrap up today. So if I come here now, you will see that I have, after endpoints, I have identity, I have emails here, and down below here is cloud app. So first of all, there is cloud discovery. So what cloud discovery is going to do is it will show you the application, all the applications that you are using. And this requires that you have the required license, right? The full-fledged of Office, Microsoft Defender for Microsoft Defender for Office before you can use this completely. And then if you talk about app catalog also, so for the app catalog, what this does is it gives you the list of applications that can possibly be used, right? And these apps are over 3,000 SaaS apps that can be used in your environment. 35,000, I'm saying 3,000, 35,248 applications. And then there are scores to the risk scores. So the ones that are green, and the reason why they are green, you can check out why they are green by clicking on it, on each of the application, the general information about the app, then the security mark or scores, right? And check, right? You can also check the compliance of that application to what? ISO 27001, ISO 27000, 27018, right? And then 27,017, 27,018, FISMA, all these awards, all these are compliance requirements. So because that app is compliant with all of these requirements, then the app is okay to be used. If you go to the legal requirement also, so this is where you can talk about data ownership, data retention policy in terms of GDPR. Is it compliant? Is it not compliant? And therefore you can look at it. For example, if you look at risky, and then we maybe bring this down to 5 or to 3. So if we apply this filter, it will give us the applications that did not meet up with expectation. So if you look at this, for example, dedicated server Australia is having a risk score of 3, right? So if you check why is it having a risk score of 3, so you can see that here inside is 4, score is 4 categories. The headquarters is Australia, and all of this is here for the application. The domain is this. Then if you check the security, then it's not meeting multi-factor authentication. User audit trail is not meeting all these. User rule support, file sharing is not meeting all these requirements. And then is still HTTP, which is the security header, right? And then you see why it is not meeting. And then you come to check here, it is not meeting any of the standards like we looked at in the other one. ISO 27001, 27,018, 27,017, 27,002, the FISMA, and all of that is not meeting with them. And that's why the score is really that low. Then if you come to legal, is bearing 1. So it is the average that is actually there as 3, right? So if you look at this, GDPR right to erase, nope, it's not meeting it. Then GDPR reports, and then it's not using it. So therefore, you can say that you wouldn't want your users to make use of this application in your environment. So what are you going to do? You unsanction the app, right? At this point, the app is not going to be useful in any of your applications, in any of your services, M35 services. So this is actually very useful when it comes to Microsoft Defender for cloud applications. You can drill down to see which applications are meeting, and then which categories are you looking at? Are you looking at productivity application, and then maybe you are looking for collaboration application? This is productivity. You can also just drill down to look at it. Education, compliance management, CRM, you can look at security, maybe communication, right? So you can apply just to streamline what application users can make use of. So this is talking about communication and productivity application that have risk score of less than 3. So between 0 and 3, and this is 3 really, is low, and you can decide to block either of these. And you cannot even imagine applications that are here, the ones that you are never aware of. The pic joke is here, the image SRC is here, voice shot is here. There are a lot of applications that can be used in your M365 SaaS applications. And that's what Microsoft Defender for cloud apps is actually concentrating on, to see how they can mitigate the use of these applications that do not meet the score requirements. So what about this? The what's this? And then you have the activity log. And then one thing that is very important again is the policy, right? So you can talk about the policy management in terms of, so this is not an advanced course, so we may not be able to go into some very detailed of this, because all you need is a surface of it just to pass, but you need to be aware of the applications that are here, right? You can really see this, right? The policies that are here. You can decide to, so these are, if you can decide to create policy, right? And also you can decide to use the policy templates that are available. Activity performed by terminated user can be like a policy that you want to create. And then what are you trying to do? Maybe you are trying to edit policy, or you can decide to use that to create like a new policy and say activity that are performed by terminated employee. Terminated employee can decide to start sending emails to sending out files from his or downloading files too often, just to make sure that he has enough file before he leaves the organization. You can set up a policy. So this policy profile, profile your organization and alert when a terminated user perform an activity in a sanctioned corporate application. This may include malicious activity by terminated employee who still has access to their corporate account. What do you want to do? You want to send an email to your security team. You can put their shared mailbox here or their distribution list here, just so the email can be sent to them that something is really going on. So what about the scope? Specific users or all the users in your environment. Through Microsoft Defender for cloud apps, you can really track what is happening within your application. So leave page. So that is said, we may just, so if you look at Shadow IT also in terms of policies, Shadow IT is talking about people who using application that you do not approve. So you can create a policy to handle Shadow IT, its app discovery policy, so that you can discover an application that is not approved and flag it by sending a mail to the security team immediately. So that is for Microsoft Defender for cloud apps that you may want to check out. So beyond this, you also have Microsoft Defender for identity, which is speaking to user sign-in, but at this time, we may want to leave it at that 5th one. We will come back to look at the remaining ones in our subsequent trainings. So for those writing exams this weekend, we want to wish you well, and we believe that you will scale through. So success is not the destination, right, alone, and failure too should not should not put anyone down. But the more important thing is that you are giving it a try. And if it's from us here at Pillars Cloud Technology, we only can wish you well and success in your exam. So that said, I want to allow the team backstage here to ask questions if they do have any. And if you have questions on the various platforms that we are broadcasting to, and you feel like you want to ask, you can drop it on the comment section for us to respond to. So that will be all from me. Team, does anyone have questions? Questions. Okay, so if silence means that we are good from here, I want to say thank you guys for sticking through to this time. We may need to go now.